Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel, dedicated to everything mysterious, mythical, and legendary. In this video, I have decided to stay in my home country, but head towards the very international city of Cape Town. For those of you who do not know, Cape Town is located on the southwest coast of South Africa, almost at the tip. Historically, it is a very important city, as it was here that the Dutch East India Company set up a port and supply station as a rest stop for India. Cape Town's most famous natural landmark is, of course, Table Mountain. Table Mountain is named so for its very flat top and is flanked by two other mountains, Lion's Head and Devil's Peak. Now, another incredible feature of Table Mountain, and the area in general, is this dense blanket of mist that forms during the summer months. Because of how it looks, it is nicknamed the tablecloth of Table Mountain. In the past, natural phenomena would generate its own myth and legend, so people would be able to explain it. This tablecloth of mist seems to have done the same. Van Hunks and the Devil is a famous South African myth, which seeks to entertain and explain not only how Table Mountain got its tablecloth of mist, but possibly how Devil's Peak got its name too. The legend goes that Jan Van Hunks was a retired sea captain or pirate who loved smoking his pipe. He lived with his wife at the foot of the mountain we now call Devil's Peak. Now, as to whether Jan Van Hunks really existed or not is the cause for debate. Some accounts actually give dates, stating that he lived at the foot of the mountain in the early 18th century. However, I could not find any evidence for this. Even his surname, Hunks, is an unusual one. Many are of the opinion that the legend of Van Hunks does not originate in South Africa at all, but in England, in the form of a poem written by poet Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Rossetti spent many years working on his poem titled Jan Van Hunks. It was eventually published posthumously in 1909. In 1829, a writer by the name of John Rutter Chorley wrote a tale called Henkerwesel's Challenge. In it, a Dutchman named Henkerwesel challenges the devil to a duel and ends up losing his life. Rossetti was apparently influenced by the story and wrote his poem. Now, how this poem found its way to South Africa is a mystery. You would think Rossetti wrote this poem with South Africa in mind, but I don't think he did. Firstly, there is no note of him ever visiting our country. Secondly, the poem itself makes no allusion to Cape Town or any mountain. The poem is set in Van Hunks' house, and the story itself is different to our legend. Lastly, Rossetti in his poem writes of winter and ice-paved streets, and there's even a line, 3 months since Christmastide, which probably means the poem was set in February or March. Now, you don't have to live in South Africa to know that in the Southern Hemisphere, February-March is still technically summer or the beginning of autumn. So I don't think Rossetti had our country in mind at all when he wrote this poem. So how did it come to be associated with Cape Town? It's most probable that the story traveled here from Europe and was spread via oral tradition, either amongst the British or Afrikaners, or even the Cape Malays, whose origins can be traced back from the Dutch colonies of Indonesia. But this is just speculation on my part. Whatever its origins, it has now become associated with Cape Town, and some even speculate that it's given its name Devil's Peak to the side mountain. Let me not keep you waiting any longer, dear viewer. I will now relate the story of Van Hunks and the Devil and how Table Mountain got its tablecloth of mist. Jan Van Hunks loved to smoke his pipe, He prided himself on being able to smoke for hours at a time. His wife, however, was not as impressed as he was, and whenever he smoked, she would chase him out of the house. Jan would then take a walk up the slope of the mountain and find a nice quiet spot to smoke his pipe. One day, he was sitting in his favorite spot, puffing away, when a stranger came across him. The stranger was a tall, dark figure in a long black coat and black hat. He sat down next to Jan and lamented that he had run out of tobacco. "Don't worry," Jan responded. "I have the finest tobacco mixture money can buy right here. I can smoke as much and for as long as any other person." "Is that so?" said the stranger. "I will wager you, sir. I bet I can smoke more and for far longer than you." Jan Van Hunks' arrogance got the better of him, and he readily agreed. He pulled out his bag of tobacco and placed it between them. The challenge began, and the two started smoking their pipes voraciously. They continued well into the afternoon, and soon it got dark. But they continued. Jan did not go back home, but sat in that spot with the stranger well past midnight. They smoked and smoked and smoked, well into the next day. The townspeople began to notice a massive white fog ascending up the mountains. It began to billow all the way to Table Mountain, like a sea of cloud. Then suddenly, the stranger collapsed, unable to smoke any more. As he fell, his hat fell off his head, and Jan noticed two protruding horns on top of his head. It was then that Jan realized what he was dealing with. Angered by his defeat, the devil got up, grabbed a hold of Jan, and in a flash, the two disappeared. Jan Van Hunks was never seen again. And so, to this day, when the mist billows over Devil's Peak and Table Mountain, locals say that Van Hunks and the devil have returned to smoke their pipes. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to my channel and press the like button. You can also check out my other video here as well. I'll put up the link. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow me there as well. Until next time, goodbye.